Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker shields, deathly search pests, and fastless minions, beat sacks. I'm usefully welcome. And so the Arab countries and Arab coalition has now presented their 5-year plan for Gaza. And after considering it and looking over the details, it seems utterly unrealistic. And so let's get into the details. So there's a Cairo summit coming up, and a plan was developed by the Palestinians and then submitted to Egypt. In the countries of Jordan, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia are this coalition that are apparently going to mull this idea over and possibly present it. And why I say it's unrealistic is because they're talking about the idea of reconstruction over 3 to 5 years. And that just seems ridiculous. Experts have already discussed the fact that it may take a decade just to remove all the rubble from the area, let alone to do any reconstruction. So this 3 to 5 year plan seems pretty ridiculous. And they do have the same goals as Israel and the United States. They want to basically eliminate Hamas, which has been a thorn in the side of Arab countries as well, except for Iran. And then no expulsion of the Palestinians. And again, I'm not sure how realistic that is. As Trump astutely pointed out, there's nothing to return to. How can they remove all the rubble and rebuild a country and have this population of 1.7 million still there? It just seems unrealistic. And the other idea about this that I find interesting is that these Gulf countries are talking about funding this themselves and it costing several $1 million. And also the idea that Egyptian companies would be in charge of this reconstruction and that Palestinians would be used as a workforce. So it's intriguing that the Palestinians came up with this plan, and I understand the reasoning of keeping Palestinians there, having Arab countries in charge of the reconstruction, and then using Palestinians who could use the economic opportunity. But I do find it funny that the Gulf countries think it's going to take several hundred $100 million when it's actually going to take billions of dollars. So clearly, this whole idea it's greatly underfunded. But the other thing that's interesting, of course, is that if the United States basically takes over Gaza and is in charge of reconstruction, it becomes a more realistic project. And find it intriguing that, of course, part of the Arab quotient is not for the U.S. to get the economic benefit of this reconstruction, but having Egyptian companies do it. So they benefit by the economic reconstruction. And so, like I say, I just find this plan pretty unrealistic. It's going to take well over a decade and hundreds of billions of dollars probably to really address this issue. But that said, at least, as I pointed out in other videos, at least Trump has prodded the Arab countries to come up with some of their own solutions and be creative about addressing the Gaza problem that's existed for 100 years. And so, in that sense, this is a success. But as far as the Arab plan, um, very unrealistic. We'll see what happens after the Cairo summit if they tweak it and come up with something a little more realistic. But at least the ball's rolling. I'm used to it. Don't you be one too?